What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, as the market does start to get a little bit of green and we do start to see many of our cryptos bouncing, Solana is making a very important move at this exact moment. So for that reason, in today's video, I will be updating you guys exactly what is going on with Solana and why we need to be paying extremely close attention to the price right now, as it could be a major sign of a big move coming very soon. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's get straight into it. So looking at Solana, in the last video about 4 days ago, I told you guys that as we were approaching the 618 to 786 zone, that we needed to pay attention to if we would hold support here or not. I said that the next video that I was going to post would come after we either lost the 786 level or held it and bounced towards the upside. Well, what you can see is that we came exactly down towards the 786 level. We held it as support and did get this bounce straight to the upside. Now, of course, this bounce is coming off the back of Bitcoin seeing a breakout towards the upside, but of course, we are just talking about Solana today. Now, what we need to start paying attention to now is that, okay, we got this bounce here. When do we start buying? When do we start getting confident? And what is the next step for Solana to finally start seeing some growth to the upside? So what we're going to go ahead and say is that the confirmation that we're looking for next is going to, it's going to be more of a three-step, I would say. It's more of a three-step confirmation here. First and foremost, what I want to see is that we're capable of breaking the trend line in which we have established over the last few weeks. Ever since the 16th of May, we have been within this key level of resistance right here. And until we're able to close outside of it, I'm really not all too confident that we're even going anywhere but, just a little bounce to the upside to this continuation to the downside. If you look at something like the 4-hour RSI right now, we are at the exact point in which we usually will bounce off of that, the trend line, right? If I draw a straight line, you can see we usually come up to around this area here, and we start to pull back towards the downside. And looking here, that correlates perfectly with these times in which we'll come up to this trend line and then bounce. So considering the fact that we are seeing a bit of a bounce here off of this trend line, I would go ahead and say that at minimum, I will first and foremost need to see us break the trend line and hold above the trend line at least on the daily close. Now, it could be as easy to say that we just need to break the trend line and that we're going to start going up, but it's not that simple due to the fact that we actually do have this 20-day simple moving average sitting right above it. So to make it very easy, what I would go ahead and say is that if we were to break the trend line, in that same move I need to see is break the 20 SMA, which is currently at $49.28. And that if we are capable of doing so, and we break the $49.28 level and hold above it, I think there's a fair shot that we start to revisit the top side resistance that we've been looking at over the last about month now. Because if we do remember, what we've been tracking on the macro has been this ABC correction coming out of this descending wedge. Of course, we had our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, right? Our good old potential Elliott wave theory there. And then we can see that we've gone into some type of corrective ABC wave here, right? We had this impulsive wave B, and we are looking to seemingly put in the final corrective wave C. And so at this point, it does start to become a game of, well, do we put in the C bottom and do we start to recapture this descending wedge? We would love for this to be a descending wedge with a fake out, because more often than not, that leads to the breakout to the upside. So if we're capable of breaking that 49.28 level, I think it is a very strong chance that we do then start to revisit the bottom side of this descending wedge again and look to re-enter back into it. That's our goal right now, and that is final confirmation number 3. Getting back in the wedge puts us in a position to very likely start to see some growth towards the upside. So for that reason, what we need to be paying attention to extremely closely over the next couple of days and the next couple of weeks is how do we engage first and foremost with this descending level of resistance mixed in with our 20 simple moving average. If we're capable of recapturing the both of them, I may even take on a little bit of a position here, expecting that we could see some type of gains of up to 15 to maybe 10%. There could be a beautiful trade there as we do start to revisit some of these, this higher level of resistance. But until we're capable of getting back within this descending wedge, breaking this key level of resistance that is now above us, I wouldn't be also comfortable buying, especially at this point, with these two key levels of resistance directly above us. Now, looking at our indicators, one thing we can see is that we are at a key point of resistance right now on the RSI on the dailies, and that if we are capable of breaking it, there is a strong chance we do kind of get out of this trend that we are in right now and finally start to see some growth. And that could align with a breakout here or even a breakout here, which would be absolutely beautiful. beautiful. If we do go ahead and we pull up our MACD for even further confirmation, one thing we can see is that we are still venturing into bullish territory here. Generally speaking, when we get these bull crosses on the daily MACD, they do lead to some growth, and we have not seen that growth just yet. We've actually seen quite the opposite. So for that reason, considering the fact that we are venturing into a new bullish territory, mixed in with the fact that we could very possibly be seeing a breakout very soon, we do need to prepare for this to happen and for it to happen very fast. So be on the lookout for the break of about $49.28 and look for us to get at least a few daily closes, or at minimum 2 daily closes above that level. If we're capable of doing so, I do expect us to come revisit the bottom side of the macro wedge. And if we're capable of breaking back into the macro wedge, that is the sign for me that we are in a new phase right now. Likely the market itself, Bitcoin, is probably towards $34,000-$35,000, and we are in a position to finally see some growth to the upside and get out of what has been one of the most catastrophic drops we've seen in crypto and in the last few years. So with that said, those are the 3 major things that I'm looking for. It's very easy, very simple. I'm not going to overcomplicate it too much. I want to make it as easy as possible. The only thing that I would go ahead and say is kind of the right word would probably be like the cancellation here, I would say, is that we can see this getting completely canceled out. And what invalidates this entire move is that if at any given point we lose $39.66, if at any given point we bounce down below $39.66, do expect us to come back down to, again, $35, and in my opinion, likely even $30, which still could look like a fall from this point of over 30%. We have to stay above the 786 level. We have to stay above $39.45, and we have to use this level to bounce, because if we fail, we more often than not will continue to set these lower lows and likely set the even lower lows towards, again, $30. Okay, so pay very close attention to these levels. It is getting into the nitty gritty right now. People are not really appreciating how crucial these levels are on the prices for the next couple weeks and the next couple months of price action. We need to see these confirmations, or we need to see these overall invalidations, because they are going to tell us exactly what we need to do and how we are going to play this market. So with that said, do stay tuned for, of course, more videos now that I am back and home from my trip this weekend. I had 2 buddies fight, so of course do go check out my community tab. I posted their podcasts and some of their fights there. But with that said, that is going to be about it, and I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, you can always let me know simply by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And I will see you all next time. Peace.